night in West Texas as we welcome you to Lubbock here at Tracy Sellers Field as we get set for the series opener in the Big 12 tonight. It's the BYU Cougars and the number 2 Texas Tech Red Raiders. Chris Sylvester on hand, our entire crew. Glad you're with us as Texas Tech returns home after a midweek win on Tuesday against Abilene Christian. For BYU, it's the Cougars' first trip to Lubbock as members of the Big 12. It's their first trip in program history down here to the Texas Tech campus. The Red Raiders in the Cougars' first 2 years as Big 12 members took 2 of 3 in Provo from this BYU squad that has been on the wrong end of the first 4 teams out on Selection Sunday each of the last 2 years. They have not had a losing season since 2000, and it appears they'll be on the wrong end of that streak this season. 11-22 overall. They've been decimated by injuries, but certainly some bright spots in the order for Gordon Eakin, the 24th year head coach. Danica Acosta hit a couple home runs last weekend against Kansas, and Elovea Brittingham is hoping to get her bat back where it was a season ago when she finished with a .410 average and won the Big 12 Freshman of the Year award. Texas Tech going for an 11th straight win. Jerry Glasgow has that ridiculous streak going, has never lost a conference series as Division I head coach. We'll talk about that later in the telecast, but this is a Texas Tech team at 35-2. Everybody in the starting 9 hitting well above 300 on the year. Caitlin Terry, the UCLA transfer, continues to dazzle. She'll try and stretch her hitting streak to 25 games here in this series opener tonight. Nyjah Kennedy's in the circle. We're excited to see her. Always special for everybody in attendance when the best pitcher in the game gets a chance to throw. We'll bring you the first pitch next. BYU, number 2, Texas Tech, is coming up. But back here at the home of Texas Tech softball, the newly dubbed Tracy Sellers Field, named after the former Red Raider of the early 2000s who has been so generous as Texas Tech has grown its brand in the sport of softball the last couple of years. And well, there's another reason the Red Raiders are on the national map. And there she is, getting ready to go in the circle. Nyjah Kennedy, the senior from Topeka, Kansas, has started 14 games this year. This is her 15th, 84 innings. The earned run average 1.33, 22 walks to 119 strikeouts. A chance for Nyjah to make a little history tonight. She is 7 strikeouts shy of 1,000 for her college career and would join some elite company if she can get there tonight. No question she'll get there at some point. And we'll see if she can rack up 7 strikeouts against this BYU batting order. Excited to compete against the number 2 team in the country this weekend. And first ball swinging, sent the other way, and it drops out of the glove of Spearman as Acosta now digging for second base, and she's in there. So Danica Acosta, we mentioned she hit a couple home runs, first 2 of her college career last weekend, and very early against Nyjah Kennedy. Maybe sets the tone for this BYU team that has won just 2 Big 12 games through their first 3 conference series. Here's Lily Owens taking a called strike. Robert Guest is calling the balls and strikes tonight. Owens, the senior, 307 batting average, starting left fielder for BYU. And waves through the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. You'll see Nyjah tonight, likely Caitlin Terry in the circle for the middle game of the series tomorrow night. Caitlin starting in right field today as this one's bounced fair past the diving Taylor Panel. Rounding third, Acosta. And how about this for a start for BYU? Back-to-back hits and a 1-0 lead for the Cougars in the blink of an eye here in Lubbock. And that'll draw a visit from Tara Archibald, the second-year Texas Tech pitching coach. You get the sense that the folks here that filed in to take in tonight's series opening game are a little stunned right now. BYU has been swinging early and aggressive. Only 4 pitches in for Nyjah Kennedy. She's given up a couple of hits and a run. Well, you always think about the potentials of a no-hitter and a shutout when Nyjah takes the ball in the circle. But BYU not afraid of this big stage against the number 2 team in the country. Off to a quick start here. 2 batters in, scoring the series first run. Yeah, and here's Haley Schuler. Belt high strike. Schuler, the DP, 318 batting average. 5 doubles, couple homers, 15 batted in. Then takes that one off the inside. Schuler, the Duke transfer. Sophomore from Lake Balboa in Southern California. Oh, bounces off the glove of Burns and allows Owens to take third base. So Texas Tech, they've already committed an error behind Nyjah Kennedy. Spearman charged with an error after Acosta's leadoff base hit, allowing her to advance to second, and now a passed ball. That's popped up. Jackie Liss makes a basket catch. And there's the first out of the game on a nice running play made by the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. So Schuler pops out in foul ground, and it gives way to Elovea Brittingham, the reigning Big 12 Player of Freshman of the Year, who homered twice off Kennedy in the 3-game series these 2 teams played in Provo last season. Brittingham looks at the first one over the outside corner for a called strike. Brittingham starting in center field, the cleanup hitter for BYU. 242 average this year, does have 2 doubles, 7 homers, 25 batted in. But it's a far cry from what she put together in one of the great freshman seasons in BYU history last year. Hit .410 and set a freshman program record with 19 homers and 69 RBIs. Comes up empty on that swing. It's 1-2. She was the first BYU player to be named an All-American in 7 years last summer. And Kennedy puts her away as she chases strike 3. And now Nyjah just 6 away from joining the 1,000 strikeout club. Haley Morrow bats with 2 down. All things considered, BYU had Lily Owens at third base with nobody out. Kind of feel like a win here for Texas Tech to strand her there. Looked like BYU is poised for a multiple run top half of the first. See if Nyjah can limit the damage here. And not wasting any time as she jumps in front of Haley Morrow at 0-2. Senior from Las Vegas had 5 hits, including a home run in the Kansas series at home last weekend. Cougars lost 2 of 3 to the Jayhawks. BYU, they've played the top teams in the league here. It's been a top-heavy portion of the Big 12 schedule for the Cougars, who opened conference play in Tucson against Arizona when the Wildcats felt like they were unbeatable. And Oklahoma State on the road, Kansas, and now Texas Tech as Nyjah freezes Morrow. Back-to-back punch-outs. It does indeed limit the damage here in the top of the first, but BYU strikes early. We'll see how number 2, Texas Tech, tries to answer back in the bottom of the first next.
This is Holden at 10. No budget, no spending alerts, no shot. And this is Future Holden. When Holden was 10, Mom signed him up for Lubbock National Student Visa debit card. That first account helped him learn about money early, smart spending, budgeting, and a cash bonus for good grades.
So, what do we use our cash rewards for?
We took Bella to prom.
It's not too late to get your own student card.
They look at us and wonder, what's out there?
We are.
We've never been the type to stand to the side, letting world-changing ideas go untested. We push even beyond our own expectations. Here is seen across the country and heard around the world. We strive to be bold, to be impactful, and to challenge the status quo.
Because from here,
And here.
And even here,
It's possible.
Gianna Mattis gets the starting assignment against one of the nation's top offenses, Texas Tech. Getting ready to bat for the first time in this series after BYU scratched across the night's first run. Nyjah Kennedy able to limit the damage from there after giving up back-to-back hits to begin the game. For Gianna Mattis, 5-7 record, 7.71 earned run average, and at times has struggled with her command. 62 walks in 69 innings. Has struck out 68 hitters, but 94 hits allowed. This is a BYU team and season that very much has been changed by the course of a couple injuries to their top 2 pitchers on staff. Kate Daly, who pitched great and beat Texas Tech last year, along with Case and Korth, are out for the season. So Gordon Eakin told us yesterday, just trying to piece together innings in the circle with what he has available to him. And there's a chance BYU could use anywhere from 2 to 3 different arms tonight. Maya Davis takes the 1-1 low. Davis, the senior center fielder, checks in with a .472 average. 7 homers, 37 batted in. And takes ball 3. Well, the last thing any opposing pitching staff wants to do is gift Maya Davis a chance to get on base. 28 stolen bags this year, as a freshman at Louisiana 3 years ago, led the country in stolen bases. And takes ball 4. So a leadoff walk for the Red Raiders in their half of the first gives way to Caitlin Terry. Riding a program best 24-game hitting streak. UCLA transfer, two-way star. And here comes Pete Meredith, the BYU pitching coach, after Gianna Mattis has missed with 5 of her first 6 pitches. Hard to believe that when Caitlin Terry announced her decision to transfer to Texas Tech, most thought she'd be the most impactful in the circle. And while she's been nothing short of terrific as a pitcher this year, what she's done as a hitter might be more impressive. She's 4th in the country with her .538 batting average and has added a lot of power to her game. Tireless long hours and days with Jerry Glasgow in the cage. There's ball 3. Mia Williams is on deck. And that's right in there for a strike, 3-1. Gianna Mattis, junior from Tucson, Arizona. Only appeared in 9 games in the circle last year. She walks Terry. Maya Davis was moving on the pitch anyway. And well, the Red Raiders have put a couple on with nobody out. Mia Williams coming up. And a chance to roar back after BYU struck for the first run of the night.
Now batting number 1, Mia Williams.
Gordon Eakin is up out of the first base dugout. Was having a lengthy conversation with Mike Bartling, the first base umpire. Not sure what that was in regards to. Nonetheless, 2 on, nobody out. And Williams takes low. So we've only seen Mattis aggressively attack these hitters a couple of times through her first 11 pitches. 9 of them have been wide of the strike zone. That's low and outside, ball 2. Williams enjoying her first season here in Lubbock, the junior from the Sunshine State. Club leader in doubles, homers, and RBIs. Has a baker's dozen in the double and home run categories. Hitter-friendly count here for Williams with 2 on, nobody out. And she takes low. So Mattis just not able to find the strike zone early and gifting Texas Tech an opportunity for a big bottom of the first. Jackie List, the reigning conference player of the week, on deck. And here's the 3-0. Williams taking all the way. It's a called strike. Warm night here in West Texas. 82 degrees. Right now the wind's not howling around like they might be a few hours from now. Off-speed pitch, misses high and away. And so the Red Raiders, without the benefit of a base hit, have drawn 3 straight walks to load the bases for Jackie Liss. reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, Southern Illinois transfer. Had 3 homers and 8 RBIs across 4 games for the Red Raiders last week, as the first one's in there for a strike. List hitting .468, 7 doubles, 8 homers, 36 RBIs. The native of Newburgh, Indiana, spent the last 3 years at Southern Illinois. To the backstop, here comes Davis, and the game's tied. So 3 walks, and now a wild pitch. And Texas Tech, not only have they not had to lift the bat off the shoulder here, but great chance here to jump in front without doing a whole lot themselves. That's in there for a strike to Liss. Caitlin Terry at third, Mia Williams at second, and Liss fouls it back to the screen. Second game of the week for Texas Tech. Went over to Abilene, beat ACU on Tuesday night. And because of the games that never happened for Texas Tech last month because of weather at Stetson and Florida State, the Red Raiders announced earlier this week that they added a couple more games to the April schedule. Liss on a bouncer to short, only play to first for Morrow. Throw back across to third, won't be in time to get Williams. It's an RBI ground out for Jackie Liss. And Texas Tech quickly takes a 2-1 lead. So the first ball that we've seen put in play tonight by the Red Raiders is an RBI ground out. Jackie Liss knocking in her 37th run. And there's Taylor Pannell. Outside corner strike. Pannell, the third baseman, a .374 hitter. 7 doubles, 5 homers, 33 RBIs for the Tennessee transfer. Two-time All-SEC first team selection. Rocky Top. Off speed, left side, fielded by Townsend. Low throw, dug out of there by Urincho. But Williams touches home plate, back-to-back RBI groundouts. And it's a 3-run first for Texas Tech. So some soft contact induced by Gianna Mattis, but didn't do herself any favors by walking the bases loaded to the first 3 hitters. And now the base is empty for Jasmine Burns, the power hitting catcher. Burns, a transfer from Ohio State. .348 hitter this year with 3 doubles, 7 homers, 24 RBIs. Spent the last 2 years in Columbus with the Buckeyes. Last year's primary catcher, Vic Valdez, still on the roster, but with the addition of Burns, Jasmine has gotten the bulk of the playing time behind the plate. This is her 27th start of the season tonight. And sends a bouncer to short. Tough in between hop. Nice play by Morrow to throw out Burns for out number 3. So the Red Raiders, no hits, but 3 runs. All 3 walks come around to score for number 2 Texas Tech. And they have a 2-run lead after an inning.
Look at brand number 1. What brand is this, y'all? for one. Let it rip. Ooh, okay, they're gonna get glasses. All right, let's go into team number 2. All right, guys, hand his drinks. There you go. We all talk about one. Let it rip. Let it rip. Oh, on the nose. All right, last one. Let's see it. Let's see it. All right, here we go. Here's ice cream. There it is. You got a winner. Go ahead and let it run. Here it is. Congratulations. You are also going home with a prize.
Texas Tech's defensive alignment for the opener of this 3-game Big 12 Conference Series. Maya Davis, the quarterback out there in center field with Spearman and Terry to each side. Tony and Panel on the left side of the infield with Williams and Jackie Liss on the right side, and the battery of Nyjah Kennedy and Jasmine Burns. Onward to the top of the second. BYU with a run on 2 hits in the top of the first. Texas Tech 3 straight walks. All of them came in to score in the bottom half of the inning. So 3-1 as we pick it up in the top of the second. And Kennedy, who struck out the final 2 hitters of her first inning, gets a swing and a miss from Rita Tavita, the freshman right fielder for BYU. That one's out of play. 0-2 on Tavita. Bree Townsend and Irma Urincino for BYU in the second. Strike 3 swinging, and that's 3 straight for Nyjah Kennedy. Now 4 away from 1,000. It didn't take her long to get into a groove after giving up those back-to-back hits. Bree Townsend right at Maya Davis, who's waiting for it in center field and perfectly positioned for the second out. Well, when BYU's been able to make contact here early against Nyjah Kennedy, they've swung at pitches early in the sequence. When they've watched a few go by, they've had trouble getting out of the batter's box. Urincino, the first baseman, waves through the first one. The freshman getting her 5th start of the season today. 3 hits in her first 18 collegiate at-bats. My goodness. There aren't many pitchers in the sport that can induce a swing like that. Kennedy in the driver's seat. See you later. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. A couple strikeouts, bookend the 1-2-3 second for Nyjah Kennedy, closing in on 1,000 tonight.
Reliant is the home of free electricity weekends, so your home can be the home of epic bedtime stories. The truly free weekends electricity plan gives you free electricity every weekend automatically from 8 p.m. Friday to 12 a.m. Monday. And when you have Reliant and Vivint, they're smarter together, giving you the power to manage your electricity and your smart home all in one place. Live happily ever after with the truly free weekends electricity plan from Reliant, proud partners of Texas Tech Athletics.
We are creating an unusually amazing customer experience.
We don't push product. We want to understand how we can help.
Where UMB and the relationship officers do a fantastic job is getting to know the customer, build trust, and let them know they care.
I think everyone sells relationship banking, but we deliver it.
the second here in Lubbock for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. BYU's left side of the infield was busy in the first. Haley Morrow, Bree Townsend made some nice plays. Acosta and Urincho on the right side with Brittingham, Owens, and Tavita in the outfield, and Fabella catching Gianna Mattis, who yielded those 3 straight walks to open the first, but then got the next 3 hitters to bounce out to the left side of the infield. Desiree Spearman leads off and takes strike 1. The Red Raiders starting left fielder, 381 batting average, 8 doubles, 8 homers, 36 RBIs. Spearman spent the last 2 years playing close to home. She's from El Paso and was with New Mexico State in nearby Las Cruces. Conference USA the last couple seasons. Swings over the top of the 1-1 pitch and falls behind 1-2. Bottom third of the Red Raider batting order scheduled here in the second. Spearman, Tony, and Lauren Allred for Jerry Glasgow's Red Raiders. Off-speed pitch misses off the outside. 2-2. Spearman homered, had 6 RBIs against Iowa State in the Red Raiders' 3-game sweep of the Cyclones last season. Last weekend, should I say. As the 2-2 pitch is waved at and missed. First strikeout for Mattis.
At the plate, number 32, Haley Tony.
69th strikeout of the season for the junior southpaw. And here's Haley Tony. Red Raider shortstop takes ball 1. Tony hitting .357 on the year, 5 homers, 28 RBIs for the second-year Red Raider. Bounces this one foul. Tony was on the All Big 12 freshman team last year. At .332, coming in from her hometown of Magnolia, Texas. One ball, 2 strikes. You get the sense that Gianna Mattis is starting to settle in a little bit. Has retired the last 4 in a row. Has jumped in front of Haley Tony. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And it's in on the hands, bounced softly towards first. An easy play for the freshman Urincho, and there are 2 outs.
Now batting number 11, Lauren.
A 5 in a row set down by the BYU starting pitcher. Lauren Allred will try and jumpstart the bottom of the second with 2 outs for Texas Tech. Allred on the All Big 12 second team last year after spending 2 years with Jerry Glasgow in Louisiana. Bouncing ball under the glove of Urincho. It rolls through into right field. And a 2-out hit for Allred, the first tonight for Texas Tech. Allred, the DP, reaches on a 2-out hit and gives way to Maya Davis for a second time in as many innings. The active Division I leader in hits, stolen bases, and at-bats. And it certainly helps when you're penciled in leadoff for one of the best offenses in the country, and that's been a reality for Maya Davis all 4 of her college seasons. Louisiana had some really good offenses her first 2 years, and that's been the case here in 2 years at Texas Tech. Although you talk to Jerry Glasgow and he thinks this year's set of offensive players are that much better than what he had on last year's roster, and it's hard to argue with that. averaging over 10 runs a game this year. Texas Tech has had 24 run rule wins, and they're hitting over 400 as a team. They've already set the single season program record for home runs with 76 as a club. And there's still more than a month left before the postseason. 4-pitch walk. Second one Maya Davis has worked. And the Red Raiders have 2 on with 2 out, and Caitlin Terry coming up.
Batting for the Red Raiders, number 55, Caitlin Terry.
Terry walked and scored in Texas Tech's 3-run first. Comes up empty on a first pitch swing. Nothing in 2 as the bunt goes foul. Allred singled with 2 outs. Then Davis walked on 4 pitches. Already 4 walks drawn by Texas Tech in this game. Terry pops it up. Shallow left. Out goes the shortstop Morrow to squeeze out number 3. So the Red Raiders leave 2. They don't score here in the bottom of the second. And it's 3-1 Red Raiders after 2.
The true strength of West Texas is in its people, where oil fields meet the heart of our community. Texas Tech Athletics is proud to partner with an industry that drives our region forward. From classrooms to stadiums, we're ensuring our community thrives. Together, we're creating pathways to success. Texas Tech and oil and gas, powering progress together.
Welcome to Abuelo's, where fresh meets flavor. Experience the incredible flavors of Abuelo's Mexican restaurant, combining homemade cooking with rich flavors of coastal and interior Mexican cuisine. Enjoy made-from-scratch Mexican food, from our house-made salsas, sauces, tortillas, and sides, to our hand-rolled enchiladas, traditional Tex-Mex items, and unique house specialties. Come in today and enjoy great food and new traditions, because the best memories are made around the table. Abuelo's, where the taste of Mexico comes alive.
Time doesn't wait. It doesn't pause for tradition, or history, or even greatness. It keeps moving, and if we don't move with it, we get left behind. Texas Tech stands at the edge of something bigger. Every touchdown, every win has led to this. The future won't build itself. We build it.
Inning number 3 here in Lubbock. Jackie Liss, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, honored along with Kez Lucas of Arizona and Ruby Malin, who won 3 games in Utah last weekend, as well as a midweek over Tulsa for Oklahoma State. Interestingly enough, Oklahoma State is not on the Big 12 schedule for Texas Tech this year. BYU visited Kenny Gajewski and the Cowgirls a few weeks ago and salvaged the series finale out in Stillwater against Oklahoma State after dropping the first 2 games. Neither side scored in the second. Nyjah Kennedy gets back to work here in the third and misses with the first one to Kaya Fabella, the BYU starting catcher tonight. One ball, one strike. Fabella then back to the top of the order with Acosta and Owens, who combined for BYU's 2 hits and the first run of the game very quickly against Nyjah Kennedy, who has since then set down 6 in a row. There's strike 3 swinging, and the 5th strikeout, one time through the order for Kennedy. We knew 1,000 was a possibility tonight, and
At the plate, number
here
15,
through 2 1/3
Danica
innings,
Acosta.
she's just a couple away. Danica Acosta takes a called strike. Acosta swung at the first pitch she saw and came up with the base hit to left field. Swings through that one, 0-2. See if Kennedy goes back to the Rice Bowl here in the driver's seat. Acosta's first career home run last weekend gave BYU a walk-off win over Kansas. And then in the series finale the very next day, hit another home run after not having hit one the first 2 months of the season. Strike 3 called over the outside edge. And Nyjah Kennedy is in a groove now. She has struck out 3 in a row and up to 6 for the game. Could get to 1,000 right here. Lily Owens, the batter. Owens doubled home the night's first run in the BYU half of the first inning. Two and one. Owens, the senior from Chino Hills in Southern California, closing in on 200 hits in her BYU career. Sends that one foul, 2-2. And Kennedy might be on the cusp of some history here. At 999 career strikeouts. The 2-2 pitch. Full count. Haley Schuler would be next. Three-two. Check swing on a strike 3 call. There's 1,000 for Nyjah Kennedy. A little history tonight in West Texas as Kennedy strikes out the side in the top of the 3rd. The crowd here at Tracy Sellers Field has just been notified. A special moment for a special player. 1,000 strikeouts and counting for Nyjah Kennedy as we head to the bottom of the 3rd.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Let it rain, Randy! Woo! Yes! By being prepared for anything! Woo! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Alliance Checking has your back and your future. With a streamlined, hassle-free checking experience, you get the freedom to manage your money your way. Enjoy our best rate on deposits, plus stock rewards that stack up, turning everyday spending into real growth. Every purchase, every swipe, every transaction works harder for you. From coffee runs to big-ticket buys, spending money has never paid off like this. Alliance Credit Union, for people, not profit.
Goes Calvis, throw it way out. Bring in a run, behind double.
Big-12 up.
That base runner.
Nigeri Kennedy honored in between innings. Even got a little photo op. 1,000 career strikeouts for the senior out of Topeka, Kansas. Has checked just about every box imaginable when you talk about college softball milestones. I think the only thing remaining is winning a national championship, and she's been very vocal about that. That was part of her reasoning behind transferring to Texas Tech when she did. Red Raiders were right on the cusp last year, lost in the final game of the season in the Women's College World Series to Texas, but not only hoping to get back there this year, but hoping to hoist the trophy when it's all said and done. First things first, still a lot of regular season games on the docket for Texas Tech. The first of 3 against BYU tonight. Gianna Mattis still out there in the circle for the Cougars as Williams sends a high fly ball deep into the left field corner and out of play, foul. A terrific effort from Lily Owens, who chased it all the way towards the sidewall in foul territory. And it landed out of play, just past her outstretched glove. Covered a ton of ground there and kind of following the ball as the wind pushed it around a little bit. Full count here on Williams, who worked to walk her only time. Jackie Liss, Taylor Panel to follow, 3, 4, 5. And the Red Raiders starting lineup scheduled here. Texas Tech just 1 hit through the first 2 innings against the Southpaw. As Williams lunges after the off-speed pitch and goes down swinging. Second strikeout for Mattis. Now up to 70 on the season. And here's Jackie Liss, who knocked in a run, the first run of the game, on a ground out to the shortstop. Strike 1 over the outer third. Liss, who 2 years ago was the Missouri Valley MVP at Southern Illinois, where she spent the last 3 seasons. Another highly decorated addition to this Texas Tech roster in the offseason. One and 2.
It's an Anders Brothers Roofing foul ball.
Two and 2 on Jackie Liss. In the air to right field. Tavita backing up. She stumbles and the ball falls in there. Still rolling around. Liss is being waved home. Here's the throw. Not in time. Inside the park home run for the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. It looked like it was for sure going to be the second out of the inning, and then Tavita sort of stumbled as she went to try and grab it. Jackie Liss, who was busting it out of the batter's box, cruised around the infield, and that is her 53rd career home run. And the Red Raiders on their way to now 77 homers as a club, a single season program record with a month plus left in the regular season. not many have not gone over the fence. This is popped up into the shallow outfield. Acosta, the second baseman, makes the catch. And Taylor Pennell pops out for the second out here in the bottom of the third. So 2 outs. And here's the catcher, Jasmine Burns, fouling the first one back. Burns a ground out her only time. It was to end the first against Gianna Matis. Fouled away, 0-2. Another night game tomorrow, middle game of the series. 6 p.m. Central, nationally televised game on FS1, and then a day game here Saturday to wrap up the series back on ESPN+. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the inning for Matis. But Texas Tech grows the lead on a Jackie Liss inside the park home run. And after 3, the Red Raiders have a 3-run lead.
This is Holden at 10. No budget, no spending alerts, no shot. And this is Future Holden. When Holden was 10, Mom signed him up for Lubbock National Student Visa Debit Card. That first account helped him learn about money early, smart spending, budgeting, and a cash bonus for good grades.
So, what do we use our cash rewards for?
We took Bella to prom.
It's not too late to get your own student card.
They look at us and wonder, what's out there?
We are.
We've never been the type to stand to the side, letting world-changing ideas go untested. We push even beyond our own expectations. Here is seen across the country and heard around the world. We strive to be bold, to be impactful, and to challenge the status quo.
Because from here?
And here.
And even here,
it's possible.
Well, you never know who you'll find on the celeb cam these days at a Texas Tech softball game. Longtime Lady Raider coach, Marcia Sharp. Yeah, they've got the freeways and highways around these parts named after her. I think rather appropriate. She's here on the cusp of the women's basketball Final Four beginning tomorrow in Phoenix. And Marcia taking in the #2 softball team in the country, the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, on a night where Nyjah Kennedy has joined the 1,000 career strikeout club. Has punched out 7 through 3 innings of work. And after giving up back-to-back hits and a run to open the game to BYU, the Cougars have not had a base runner since then. Called strike into Haley Schuler, who falls behind at 0-2. Schuler popped out in foul territory her only time. Elovea Brittingham, Haley Morrow to follow. 3-4-5 for BYU here in the top of the 4th. And there's strike 3 swinging, 1001 for Nyjah Kennedy. And her 5th consecutive strikeout against this BYU lineup.
Now batting for the Cougars, number 8, Elavan Brittingham.
Here's Brittingham, who struck out her only time and takes the first one a little bit low. Two and one. Mentioned Brittingham hit a couple home runs off Kennedy last year in Provo. BYU was right on the cusp of the postseason. 32 wins last year, 13 wins in the Big 12, and unfortunately on Selection Sunday they were the first team left out. 2-2. Injuries have not allowed them to really be in that conversation this year, with only 11 wins to this point. Popped up, middle of the infield. An easy play for Williams, 2 down. First time in a while BYU's put the ball in play against Nyjah Kennedy. And Haley Morrow will try again after she struck out looking her only time in the first. First one hits her. Gornikin and the medical staff giving attention to Morrow. Hit by a pitch here with 2 outs in the 4th. All right. On the wrist, it appeared. You can see almost had committed to swinging at that pitch, and then as soon as she realized it was going to be off the inside, she kind of pulled back. And Morrow likely to be replaced by a pinch runner at first base. And she will be. Already an injury-plagued season for sure for this BYU squad. And well, Morrow leaves the game after being plunked by Nyjah Kennedy with 2 outs. Tristan Turlington, senior from Surprise, Arizona, 4th-year Cougar, will pinch run at first base with 2 outs. First base runner for BYU since the Lily Owens RBI double 4 pitches into the game. All right, so here's Rita Tavita, who struck out her only time and takes strike 1 from Nyjah Kennedy. Tavita, who's from Salt Lake City, was the Gatorade State Player of the Year as a senior in high school. Had a double last weekend against Kansas. Gets jammed. It's right back to Kennedy. who makes the catch for out number 3. The 2-out hit by pitch, but that's all for BYU in the top of the 4th as we roll along here on a Thursday night in Lubbock. Into the month of April, this is how the conference standings have shaken out to this point. Texas Tech up 2 in the loss column over Arizona and Kansas. Oklahoma State starting to heat up, winning their last couple of series, including a sweep on the road at Utah. UCF nationally ranked. They jumped into the top 25 this week at 6-6 in conference play. BYU towards the bottom of the conference, but they've played now Texas Tech, Arizona, Kansas, and Oklahoma State, the top 4 teams in the conference to open up the Big 12 schedule. Chance for the Cougs to finish strong. And with Desiree Spearman scheduled, Jerry Glasgow goes to his bench and Logan Halliman will pinch hit for the Red Raiders. Halliman skies it into foul ground, and it lands for strike 2. Townsend was chasing near the dugout and couldn't quite bring it in. Arizona State and Kansas playing a doubleheader today in Lawrence. Sun Devils took the first game, 8-5. Second game of that doubleheader, 7-1 Kansas in the bottom of the 4th. Bouncing ball fair. And Urincho didn't have to do much after fielding it as the ground ball took her over by the bag, and Halliman grounds out, 1 away. Haley Toney coming up after she grounded out. So brief discussion between Urincho and the first base umpire, Mike Bartling. Toney, a push bunt. The flip in time. Very close play, and a nice one at that from Gianna Matis. That is so difficult as a left-handed pitcher. You naturally sort of fall off the circle, if you will, towards the third base side of the infield, and well, Matis was still able to pounce out of the circle quickly enough to field that and realized she didn't have time to turn her arm angle and just sort of flipped it over to first base. So 2 down. Here's Lauren Allred, who singled to right field. Her only time up in the second. Elsewhere in the Big 12, down in Waco, in extra innings, Houston and Baylor deadlocked at 2 in the bottom of the 8th. There's ball 3. Mentioned UCF just jumped into the top 25, and well, the Knights are looking every bit the part. They lead Utah 17-0. That game in the bottom of the 4th in Orlando. As Allred works a 2-out walk on base for a second time in this game. And it gives way to Maya Davis, who's walked a couple of times in 2 plate appearances against the junior southpaw Mattis. Called strike to Maya Davis. Walked and scored in the first inning. Was left on base after her second inning walk. Arizona, Iowa State, both idle from conference play this weekend. BYU embarking on a 9-game homestand after this series. They'll get a crack against Houston next weekend, and then Iowa State comes to town the weekend after that. Also 3 non-conference midweeks coming up for BYU. As Davis brushed back by the 2-1 offering, it's 3-1. Caitlin Terry would be next. Only 2 hits so far for Texas Tech. A Lauren Allred single and a Jackie Liss inside the park home run. The first inside the park home run for Texas Tech all season. That is over the outside. Throw to second, not in time. As Allred steals the base. 3rd stolen bag of the year for Lauren Allred. And BYU is going to challenge that Allred had left early. So the umpire is back to the replay system here. Gordon Eakin exhausting a challenge to see if he can get his team back into the dugout and back up there against Nyjah Kennedy. Busy weekend here on the Tech campus, with baseball also playing a Thursday through Saturday conference series against the Houston Cougars, although baseball has a couple day games upcoming. They'll play at 2 o'clock Central tomorrow, while the softball team will play at 6 o'clock. Again, that'll be nationally televised on FS1, one of 2 nationally televised regular season games here in Lubbock this year. The other on the ESPN family of networks in early May against the Baylor Bears. Here come the umpires after a short review. So Gordon Eakin, BYU, they lose the challenge. Replay did confirm that Lauren Allred left on time. I tell you, 3 runs is a whale of a deficit against Nyjah Kennedy. You may as well use a challenge, as this one's bounced to first. Urincho wins the race, takes care of Maya Davis, and the inning is over. So a 2-out walk, stolen base, but that's all for Texas Tech. Well, a year after making history, Big 12 champs, Big 12 conference tournament champs, regional winners, super regional winners, and then all the way to the final day and final game in Oklahoma City. Texas Tech would come up short, but certainly a lot to be proud of. In fact, all that artwork you see on the right field wall wasn't a thing this time last year. Texas Tech had never gotten past a regional in the history of its softball program. Had never been to Oklahoma City. And a special team that you just get the sense has changed the trajectory and the history and the expectations around this softball program forever. Inning number 5 here in Lubbock on a night where Nyjah Kennedy has, well, she's been Nyjah Kennedy. She gave up hits to the first 2 batters. You thought BYU maybe had some answers for Nyjah, but only 1 base runner since she was 4 pitches into the game. This is lifted into right center field. Caitlin Terry makes the catch as it came off the bat of Bree Townsend for the first out in the 5th. 8 strikeouts for Nyjah. And the 1 run was not earned because of an error made by Desiree Spearman fielding a Danica Acosta single. Gave her an extra base, and she wound up coming in to score. Irma Urincho struck out her only time. And a lot of those swings in her first at-bat looked like that. Kennedy throwing her a steady diet of breaking pitches. Urincho, the true freshman from Anaheim in Southern California. Take strike 3 looking. And Robert Guest thought maybe there was a strike, but not 2. Didn't go into his usual strike 3 windup call behind the dish. And it's number 9 for Nyjah tonight. 2 down.
Batting for the Cougars, number 7, Kaya Fabella.
Kaya Fabella, the starting catcher, will try again after she struck out her only time in the 3rd. Fabella, the true freshman from Fort Worth, had a double last weekend against Kansas. Says BYU is her dream school to play for since she was about 10 years old, and making it a reality here in her freshman season. Fouled back 1-2. Strike 3 called. Buckled her with an off-speed pitch at the knees. And Nyjah up to 10 strikeouts through 5 innings. Red Raiders will try and add on. They lead by 3 with the home half of the 5th next.
Okay, Red Raider fans, we come to the 5th inning stretch. I want you to stand
Well, Jerry Glasgow is hanging around his head coach chair. He's got his Diet Coke in hand. Is there anybody living better than that guy? The reigning Big 12 Coach of the Year. Could be headed for those honors again this season. I think he made that into the trash can too. The man has never missed. And quite honestly, he's never lost a conference series in 9 years as a Division I head coach, 7 at Louisiana. And now in year 2 at Texas Tech, the Red Raiders did not drop a Big 12 series last year. They have not dropped a Big 12 series this year, and trying to take the opener of this 3-game set against BYU. Caitlin Terry's trying to keep her hitting streak alive, which currently sits at 25. And who knows if she'll get another opportunity here in this game tonight. Fouled away. Jerry Glasgow makes the catch off the ricochet. And it's 0-2 on Caitlin Terry. Worked a walk in the first inning, came around to score. Popped out her last time. Facing Gianna Matis for a 3rd time. And that just misses off the outside edge. Mia Williams, Jackie Liss, the 2 scheduled hitters after Caitlin Terry here in the home half of the 5th for Texas Tech. Terry entered play today, 4th best batting average in the country. Here's the 2-2. And another close miss low, full count. Ball 4, so Terry walks for a 2nd time. And it's a leadoff base runner for Texas Tech here in the home half of the 5th.
At the plate for the Red Raiders, number 1, Mia Williams.
Called strike to Mia Williams. Base hit into center field. Just the 3rd hit for Texas Tech against Matis. And the Red Raiders have something cooking here in the home half of the 5th. With 2 on, nobody out. And Jackie Liss coming to the plate. Texas Tech would need a 5 spot here in the bottom of the 5th to end the game. Liss is responsible for half of Texas Tech's run total as she bounces this one to short. Morrow had trouble with the bounce, and everybody's safe. Haley Morrow has made some dazzling plays at shortstop tonight, especially on those tough in-between hops. But it's almost as if Caitlin Terry sort of provided a shield of the trajectory of that ball, and by the time it got to Morrow, it almost snuck up on her. So the Red Raiders, on a BYU error, have loaded the bases with nobody out, and BYU is hoping to avoid the big inning. Longtime Cougar pitching coach Pete Meredith out to chat with the battery of Fabella and Matis. It's the 2nd time in this game that the Red Raiders have loaded the bases with nobody out. They also did that back in the 1st inning and wound up scoring 3 times on a wild pitch and 2 groundouts. So the base is full of Red Raiders for Taylor Pannell, and Gianna Matis will stay in the game to face the right-hand hitter. Infield creeps in for BYU as the first one misses off the outside. Panel knocked in a run on an RBI ground out in the first, popped out on the infield her last time in the third. Modest nearing 90 pitches. One and two here on Taylor Panel. Texas Tech 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. High fly ball deep into the left field corner, into foul ground. Owens makes the catch. Terry tags and slides in with Texas Tech's 5th run on a Taylor Panel sac fly. "35th RBI of the season for Panel. Man, no chance to get the speedy Terry. Burns, on the first pitch she sees, hits into a 4-6-3 double play. And Modest really escapes further trouble, and that's why they call it a pitcher's best friend. So a double play ball limits the damage for Texas Tech. They settle for 1 in the bottom of the 5th, and we will have a 6th inning tonight in Lubbock. It is year 24 for Gordon Eakin at BYU, former Cougar assistant. Was elevated back in the early 2000s. Had led BYU to 16 consecutive regionals, including a super from 2005 to 21. They have not been back there since then, although they were knocking on the door the last couple years. The first team left out of the NCAA tournament in 2024 and 2025. Injury-riddled season this year, and going up against Nyjah Kennedy, number 2 Texas Tech tonight. They took a brief lead, couple batters into the game, but Texas Tech answered back with 3 runs in the bottom of the first, and the Red Raiders have held the lead ever since then. As Kennedy makes quick work of Danica Acosta, strikes her out for a second time, and she's up to 11 for the game. One gone for Lily Owens, responsible for BYU's lone run, an RBI double back in the first. Fell victim to a strikeout her last time in the third. In on the hands, fouled back. 0-2. Now Kennedy attacking the strike zone as if she has an 8 p.m. dinner reservation down the road. She is not wasting any time against these BYU hitters. Check swing foul off the bat of Owens to stay alive. No walks allowed. Did hit a batter against Haley Morrow earlier in the game. But that was on the very first pitch she threw Haley Morrow back in the fourth. 0-2. No chase on the rise ball. One, two. In on the hands. This one will find its way out of play. So Owens fighting off some tough two-strike pitches here as Kennedy looks for her 12th strikeout of the game. 19 batters faced. 11 have gone down by way of the strikeout. This one's in play. A routine play for Williams, who throws out Owens for the second out.
Now batting number 4, Haley Schuler.
2 down for Haley Schuler, who's hitless in 2 tries against Nyjah Kennedy. Oh, and 2. Oh, tough in between hop on Tony. And Schuler will reach base safely. Some about that spot of the dirt. We saw BYU struggle to field a ground ball in the bottom half of the 5th, and what appeared to be a routine play for Tony at the very last moment came up and took a big bounce. And Tony charged with an error, but it's tough to fault her for the way that ball bounced at the last moment. And Haley Schuler will exit the game for a pinch runner.
Now running at first base for the Cougars, number 51, Lexi Bennett.
Lexi Bennett, reserve outfielder, a senior for BYU. Pinch running at first base for Haley Schuler. And here's Elovea Brittingham taking ball 1. So Bennett takes over at first base for Schuler. And a very belated swing to level the count here, 1-1. In the air to right field, an easy play for Terry. She squeezes out number 3, and Nyjah Kennedy threw 6 on this Thursday night in Lubbock. on a night where hits have been at a premium, more so than runs. Not often do you see more in the run column than you do in the combined hit column, but BYU, Texas Tech, they've combined for just 5 hits in the game. Red Raiders fueled by a 3-run first inning. A first inning in which Texas Tech didn't collect a hit. They had 3 walks in a row to open up the frame and able to manufacture the runs from there on a wild pitch and a couple of RBI ground outs. And now Texas Tech 3 outs away from an 11th straight victory, but trying to add on to a 4-run lead. Here in the home half of the 6th, Gianna Mattis, 92 pitches into her outing and still going for the Cougars. 24 batters faced, 3 hits allowed. One of her better outings this year. As she misses with ball 1 to Logan Holloman, who has taken over for Desiree Spearman in left field. Second plate appearance for Holloman. Tristan Turlington taken over at shortstop after Haley Morrow was hit by a pitch a few innings ago. Three balls, no strikes on Holloman. And she walks. So 4-pitch base on balls. And that's an area where Mattis hasn't been at her best today. The 7th walk she's issued. Although only 4 since the first inning. Four of the 5 runs that Texas Tech has scratched across in this game are walks that have come around to score. Ball 1 to Haley Toney, who tried to bunt her way aboard and was thrown out on a nice play made by Gianna Mattis back in the 4th inning. Now she's missed with 5 in a row here to open up the bottom of the 6th. And now 3 pitches shy of 100 for the night. Upstairs, ball 2. Well, 7 straight out of the strike zone here. Texas Tech trying to set the table for the top of the order. That's in there for a strike. Toney had tossed the bat aside, thinking it was ball 4, but she'll see at least one more pitch in this sequence. There's ball 4. Toney tosses away the bat again, and this time takes the trot down to first base. So 2 on, nobody out for Texas Tech here in the home half of the 6th. And Lauren Allred coming up. She's been on base twice in this game. And here comes Pete Meredith. We'll see if BYU uses another arm in this game, and it appears they will. So we've got a pitching change here in the bottom of the 6th after back-to-back walks. Texas Tech up 5-1 at home. All right, Rita Tavita, the starting right fielder for BYU. We mentioned the injuries to the pitching staff and how thin their pitching depth is. She is taking over in the circle, and she hasn't pitched much. Only 5 appearances to this point, 5 2/3 innings pitched. And I think BYU in this juncture of the game, chasing 4 runs, only 3 outs to get against Nyjah Kennedy, understanding how improbable of a task that is. Trying to see what Rita Tavita can do in the circle. BYU needs all the pitching help they can get in terms of just available healthy arms. And Tavita will inherit a couple base runners with nobody out. Lauren Allred, and then the top of the order coming up for Texas Tech. Red Raiders would need to hang a 4 spot here in the bottom of the 6th to forego the 7th inning. Allred a single and a walk. And the DP for the Red Raiders been on twice. Hits the outside corner there. Tavita's first appearance in the circle since early March at Arizona. Gave up 5 runs in 2 innings to the Wildcats in Tucson, the opening weekend of conference play. This is popped up, shallow left, out goes Turlington, and the shortstop makes the play for the first out. Here's Maya Davis. Pair of walks and a ground out in 3 plate appearances tonight for the Texas Tech leadoff hitter. The senior from Lovelady here in Texas. Drops down a bunt. It's a hit. Tavita puts it in her back pocket. And the active Division I leader in hits with over 300 in her career adds another. Just the 4th of the game for Texas Tech. And this one loads the bases for Caitlin Terry, who probably has just this one last plate appearance, an opportunity to extend her hitting streak. 24 games, has walked twice in this game, but she's also popped out. Did have a game during the hitting streak where she had walked 4 times, but since a walk doesn't qualify as an official at bat, that's how the hitting streak continued on. She has registered 1 official at bat in this game. And that's not close. Ball 2. Tavita's 2-0. And Terry takes ball 3. And with the way she's patiently taking some of these close pitches, you wonder if the hitting streak is even on her mind when she comes up there in the batter's box for this team. That's low and away. Bases loaded walk. And likely the end of a program record hitting streak, but it is an RBI for Terry. And a 6-1 lead now for Texas Tech.
Batting for the Red Raiders, number 1, Leah Williams.
Pete Meredith, who is not shy in visiting his pitchers. That was a very brief message and just a conversation between he and Tavita. I'd imagine regardless of the hitter, regardless of the on-base situation, he'd just like to see his pitchers compete against this talented Texas Tech batting lineup. There's already been so many free passes issued by BYU pitching in this game. Three 3-0 here on Williams. And while these have been a little closer, still not in the strike zone. We'll see if Williams lets it rip on 3-0. Been on base twice in this game, a walk and a single. And taking all the way, it's a called strike, 3-1. Half swing on strike 2. So full count here on Mia Williams. The Red Raiders leader in home runs and RBIs with the bases loaded and 1 out. And it's off the outside. Another bases loaded walk. 7-1. Here's Jackie Liss. But an inside the park home run back in the 3rd. Sends a rocket to left. Goodbye. Grand slam. This one does leave the yard. And it ends the game in the bottom of the 6th. What a shot off the bat of the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. And the Red Raiders win their 11th straight, 11-1. They do it with just 5 hits, 2 of them home runs off the bat of Jackie Liss, who sent that screaming line drive off the netting beyond the left field fence. And a familiar trot around the bases for Jackie Liss. Didn't have to hustle as much this time around like she did in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So what's interesting about that is Tavita was the right fielder who got tripped up and allowed the Jackie Liss inside the park home run. And in the circle, she allows the grand slam that ends the game here tonight in Lubbock. Special thanks to our producer, director, Justin Nusser, and the rest of our crew. I'm Chris Sylvester. Tomorrow's game on FS1, 6 o'clock Central. Sydney Supley will be alongside. Hope you join us for the middle game of the series. 11th straight victory for Texas Tech. The number 2 Red Raiders roll to another run rule win.